Hey everybody, had a few students asking questions about classes, specifically getters and setters, and first off how to do them, but even more importantly, several people were like, why would I want to do this? And those are valid questions, so I figured I would make a video about it and kind of discuss it in a little bit more depth. Please pardon the fan in the background. I'm sure there's some background noise, but it is so freaking hot in here that I have to have it on or else I will probably die. Anyway, let's just look at one example. So I have this class user. And the user in the constructor, it takes two things, an email and a password. And then in the constructor, it just sets the email, the underscore email property to email, and the underscore password property to password using the this keyword. And then it has some getters and some setters. In order to do a getter, you just put get, and then you pass, and then you make a function. This is just like creating a method, but the get keyword makes it special, so that whenever you're trying to access that property name, whenever you try and get like user or whatever, Josh or Kim or whatever, .email, it will run this function instead of just giving you the property. So the getter for the email is just going to return the email. So honestly, this one's not needed. We could just store it as email and then get rid of that. But just for demonstration purposes, to set the email, again, what you do is you just set email, passing in the new email, and then you just set this underscore email equals the new email. These two right here, we don't need those. We could just do it like that. And that would work perfectly fine because we're not doing anything special inside of them. However, password would be special because you don't want somebody to be able to get your password. So the get password, it doesn't return the password. It returns, nope, you can't see my secret password. And the set password is another another kind of, it's a validation. Set password, if whatever they pass in is shorter than 12 characters, or if whatever they pass in is greater than 12 characters, it'll update their password. However, if it's shorter, it throws an error saying, nope, your passwords have to be at least 12 characters long for security purposes. So this way we can validate the input, and if it's not right, we're going to throw an error. So let's try this. We're creating a Josh constant who's a new user with the josh@josh.com email, and my password is super secure at password123. So let's go ahead and let's comment both of those out because I'll show those in a second. But we're just going to create that user and then log the email and then try to log the password. Let's see what happens. Make this a bit bigger so we can actually see it. Well, let me clear the console and now try it again. There we go. It logs josh@josh.com just like we would think it would right here, but whenever we try to get the password, it says, nope, you can't see my super secret password. Because that's what the getter does. But again, keep in mind, these are just functions. There's nothing special about them other than the fact that they're automatically ran whenever you try to get that value, josh.password. So whenever you try to get josh.password, it's going to run this code. You can do stuff inside of here. Console.log. They're trying to steal my password. So if I run this again, they're trying to steal my password, and then it returns, nope, you can't see my password. So even if I don't console.log this part down here, that first one will still run. They're trying to steal my password, so you could do all kinds of stuff. You could add some logging here so that whenever somebody tries to access a password, it stores a log somewhere. So that, whenever an admin resets a password, you could store a log somewhere. So getters and setters, especially setters, but both of them can have a lot of cool uses. They allow you to code in a lot of cool functionality. But that is pretty much the syntax for them. Let's undo, let's add the console.log back in, and then let's look at this other one. Let's go ahead and console.log josh.underscore password. This is the actual property, because remember, we're storing it up here as underscore password. Now this one will work. If we run this, it'll do it like that. So in your code, whenever you are using this class, you would want to make sure never to do user.underscore password, because then you would be able to access the true password. Now again, in a real application, you would be hashing and salting these passwords. You're never going to store a password in plain text. Don't ever, ever, ever do that. That's like a get you fired and sued and put in jail type thing. Maybe not the jail one, but fired and your pants suit off if you ever try and store passwords as plain text. But in just this example. So let's try and set the password to 123. We don't want this to work because that's not secure. So let's run it, and it throws an error. The error is exactly what I passed. Password must be at least 12 characters in length. So it's throwing this error right here because the password's not 12 characters in length. But if I add a bunch of stuff on there and rerun it, boom, password went through without a problem. And if I console.log josh._password, you'll be able to see that it has changed. It was password 123, I reset it, and now it's that big old long Cthulhu speak. Hopefully this clarified classes a little bit, and getters and setters especially, and why you would want them, why you might need them. So again, you don't have to have them for every property that you create. In your lab you do, because I'm mean and I want you to get practice. But in the real world, you'd only need them for properties that you need some sort of special validation on, either the getting and the set or the setting of. So just keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help.